Well, and hello. Big Angry Phil here with another edition of Dude, What the Fuck? And today's What the Fuck is about eco-anxiety. Have you ever heard of eco-anxiety? Did you even know there was such a thing as eco-anxiety? Yeah, forget about the fact that Bidenomics has made it impossible for you to pay your bills, buy groceries, buy gasoline, get car insurance, get a rental car, take a flight anywhere, pretty much do anything without taking a major bite to your wallet. And we just had the tax man come on by. But no, forget all about that. You need to worry about eco-anxiety. And they're using a very attractive young woman of color to explain it to us, also to add to the victim industry. So here we go. Please explain to us, ignorant white supremacists, why eco-anxiety is racist. Let's go.
Eco-anxiety is an environmental justice issue that disproportionately impacts Black youth.
Yes, please. Let's add more to the victim industry. Please. Because we have no other industry left in this country other than the victim industry, the Wah Trump industry, and OnlyFans. And that's about it.
Let's talk about it. According to the American Psychological Association,
well, let me tell you something. If this indeed is coming from the American Psychological Association, then the fine members of the APA ought to be sitting on the couch.
Eco-anxiety is defined as a chronic fear
Chronic fear? No. Panic fear. Yes.
of environmental doom.
By the way, you know what they should do on Earth Day this year? They should come out with a DLC to Doom Eternal called Environmental Doom. How fun would that be?
And that may include feelings of worry, guilt, shame, despair, and even hope. However,
No. My pocketbook gives me those feelings, not fucking climate change.
just as the climate crisis doesn't impact people and communities the same,
Yes, of course not. Please explain how it affects only people of color. Somehow.
neither does eco-anxiety. And we fully understand the relationship between social determinants of mental health and climate change.
Yes, of course. Because I've heard all our lovely politicians, mainstream media assholes, and globalist cocksuckers belch out the same talking points over and over and over. And of course, they're not getting the job done anymore. So they are hiring attractive young people who often post on TikTok to deliver the message for them. Congratulations for completely selling out.
We begin to understand that the nature of a person's eco-anxiety is also informed by systemic factors.
Systemic, one of those lovely buzzwords that nobody ever said 10 years ago. The systemic racism, systemic this, systemic that. Where? Nothing to cry over.
That exacerbate the ways that it's felt and addressed. Communities of color, and particularly Black ones,
Particularly Black ones. So if you're Hispanic, you don't count. If you're Asian, you don't count. You're Native American, go fuck yourself. Only, particularly, Black ones. Black. Everything affects Black people and nothing else. Meanwhile, this country has the richest Black people of any place in the fucking world, right? You thank the NBA and our entertainment industry in particular.
are more vulnerable than white ones to
Oh yeah, the hip-hop community, yes, of course. Lovely work they're doing these days. Are more vulnerable than white ones to sea level rise. Okay. That's funny, because I was always under the impression that it was a bunch of rich whiteys that lived along the coast, right? And mainly due to systemic racism, keeping the Black folks off the fucking coast, right? So when that sea level rises, guess who's going to drown first? And by the way, are we adding to the stereotype that Black folks can't swim? Are we doing that? Are we?
sea level rise, wildfire, and heat waves linked to climate change.
Yes, because wildfires and heat waves only affect Black folks. The wildfires just jump over the white communities and run right down to Compton and Watts. I know, of course. Please tell me more.
Black youth are more likely to reside in hotter regions that
Yes, of course. Black youth reside in hotter regions, those unbearably hot winters in places like Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, Cleveland, and New York City. Yes, those insanely hot places that black folks tend to live more in than anywhere else. Yes, of course.
That trap and radiate heat have the highest asthma rates in the country.
Highest asthma rates in the country. Well, yes. Well, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, knows that, and banned Newports. That'll help. Mm-hmm.
And are increasingly more likely to experience mental health illness.
Yes, again, add to the victim industry. Only black folks can experience more mental health illness than white folks or anybody else, because there are definitely no crazy white people anywhere, other than the ones that wrote this script and gave it to you to read.
All while having fewer avenues to really access often life-saving resources.
Fewer avenues, yeah, so you can't call 911. Fewer avenues, like streets, like avenues. There's certainly plenty of avenues in the hood. They might be subject to more potholes, true, but the avenues are there.
Whether it be access to affordable health care.
Well, health care, Jesus Christ. They're going to stuff every talking point they can into this silly non-issue.
Or access to green space like tree canopy cover.
Tree canopy cover. Again, you know, a lot of these poor people of color live in the slums. You know, they live in brick buildings like at the Bronx, right? Or in Chicago on the West Side. Yeah, they probably don't see a lot of trees. And by the way, anybody who lives in those communities, there's a lot of people, not just people of color, that live in those kind of areas, and they don't see trees or grass or fucking anything. They see nothing but brick buildings and just buildings and shit all over the fucking place. They're not going to see tree canopy cover. But yes, it's all unicorns and kumbaya and flowers and trees. And yes, I know. Again, how much do they pay these women, these young people to read this same old script that's just been passed down and passed down and passed down? How much are you getting paid? And I guarantee she doesn't believe a word of this shit. You know goddamn well she's going to turn the camera off and say, what the fuck? What did I just read? Well, I don't give a fuck. They gave me whatever's in this bag of money right here.
That can help mitigate extreme heat. When we couple contributing factors,
yes, please, government, control the weather more, because you're already doing such a fine job.
To mental health, like poverty rates and white supremacy.
Oh, yeah, of course, cram white supremacy into it, because, of course, the victim industry demands it.
With generally worse exposure to environmental hazards and the climate crisis.
How? Generally worse exposure to... please explain how. And please explain how nobody talked about this shit not even 10 years ago until it was officially written down by the globalist cocksuckers. You can't? Neither can I. Neither can anybody.
We begin to understand how a racialized difference in
Racialized. Everything is race. Everything's division. Poor us, poor us. Again, you don't look like you're suffering at all. You look like you're in a nice home. You get your hair all did there. You're made up. You got a nose ring. You got fucking cake cutters for earrings, and I'm sure you have a nice iPhone, whatever number it's up to now. You don't look like you're hurting too well, and I'm willing to bet you probably live in Tarzana and not in North Long Beach, okay?
Anxiety can emerge. And yet, in the midst of all of these disparities, Black youth continue to be sidelined and decentered in mainstream conversations around eco-anxiety.
Yes, because there's nothing Black youth want to talk about more than eco-anxiety and other made-up guilty white liberal fucking buzzwords, yes. Maybe stop shooting each other in favor of Mother Earth. How about that?
Which really distinguishes this whole conversation as an environmental injustice.
For God's sake. Again, in this day and age where people are struggling to pay their bills, the cost of everything has doubled, tripled, and you have a government that absolutely does not give a fuck. They're doing it on purpose. I should be more worried about eco-anxiety, especially how it affects the poor communities and the communities of color. Well, you know what? I don't worry about it. Nobody worries about it. This is all horse shit. This is all just another fucking bunch of talking points by the usual bunch of liberal cocksuckers. And I ain't hearing it. And all I gotta say is, dude, what the fuck? Stop selling out, for Christ's fucking sake. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I will be back again later.